Hi everybody, this is Sharon, and this is pertaining to Hannah London, the wife of Dontay London. She has her own channel. I think it's Hannah Diaries. But anyway, she was saying some stuff about she had a whole lot of jobs. She supposedly, I'm not even believing now that she even has as a diabetic. Just because you tell one lie, everything you say is a lie. I can't believe you, and stuff. But supposedly she has diabetes and she can't hold a job because every job she's held has fired her due to her diabetic episodes when she's at home, because she can't make it to work on time because she's having a diabetic episode and everything. Now, as far as I know, that's a lawsuit. Anybody, if they know if you're telling these people you're a diabetic, that's a disability, and there is no way that they're supposed to fight. Where I work, we've got people with all kind of disabilities, and we had this one guy. He's diabetic. I didn't say any names, and he was out for 6 months because they were trying to adjust his medications, find out, why he was having all these complications, and he lost a lot of weight. And they ended up getting everything checked out, and he comes to work like once a week. But he still comes to work, and he still had a job, because if they had fired him while he was still, because he was diabetic, then he'd be a rich man right now because he'd be going to court on that. You cannot, no company in their right mind would tell you that you can no longer work. But that's what she was telling everybody on her channel. I think it's Hannah London Diary, something like that. But maybe if you put in Hannah London, you can find her. But and then on the mic drop barbecue, the mic drops barbecue, I think that's how he says it. He GHEMIC drop BBQ. He was talking about that, because he was saying, he even had, about the ADA, and it is illegal to fire anyone who has a disability. And it's like, I thought that was well known. And then she's here on this channel. I just think she needs to either get rid of her husband, or she needs to separate herself from her husband for a while, go to her parents' house, go to someone in her family, go to one of her friends, and trying to make herself stronger, because I don't know what he does when that camera is off, but for her to go on there, I'm going to tell you, it's been in the hundreds and the 90s, just about all over the U.S. They live in Pontiac, and I don't think that's that far from Detroit. In fact, I don't even think it's that far from Canada, but it's still in the U.S. And, just about the whole country has been in this heat wave. And she's wearing a skull cap and a jacket. And it's like a little down jacket. It's almost like, she did have it halfway on. But why she would wear that, I have not a clue. I don't know. Her husband said, Dontay told her, well, honey, to make this believable, you got to wear a skull cap, and you got to put on this jacket, because, I'll be wearing my sweatsuit, and I'll be wearing my I forgot the thing you cover your head with, but he wears a hoodie, and he has his little do-rag. He wears a do-rag, and one time he had the do-rag, the sweatsuit, and the hoodie on top of his head. And I was like, I know it's got to be hot there like it's hot here. Even if it's even 90 or 80, still is hot, and especially up there, because it's cooler there. They usually have a little cooler, but it's hot as hot. But anyway, he drags her. I think he manipulates her so bad. And I really think it's after the cameras are off. I don't know what's going on there, but for her to say what she was saying, it wasn't her words. Um, it couldn't have been her words, because no diabetic would say that they've had many jobs and they were fired from them all because she was late due to her being in a coma. Nobody can believe. Who believes that? I couldn't believe it when she said it, and most people that heard it couldn't believe that she would even admit to that. And that's what makes me think that, does she even really have diabetes? You know, for you to say, have that come out your mouth. You know, does he have that much control? You need to get yourself together, go move back in with your parents, because I guarantee you, if there is like I would say 70, if not 80% of most parents, you could always come home, get yourself together, and then go fly back out there in that world and everything. Um, you know, that's I mean, we're not supposed to just let you go and then that's it. If you're having some hard times, if you can't go to anyone else, you always got family. And but I kind of feel like she she well, I feel like when she first met Dontay, not only was he charming her, she had that what do you call it, the colorism thing. You know, she saw this little light skinned guy, you know, and she probably was like, ooh, he's really cute, and I like his little personality. I can get with this. I'm never going back home. And she never went back home. She went over there to that house. She stayed the rest. She's been there ever since. Um, but I kind of feel like she's sitting living with a monster. You getting ready to go into the projects, girl. Well, you getting ready to live with his mom in a one-room apartment, not even a one-room apartment, in one part of her house, your mother-in-law's house, and you, him, and the baby are going to be sleeping in this one little sofa let-out couch. He showed the room that they're going to be supposedly sleeping in. I'm telling you, if you think, I think he sold her a bag of goods. You know, he probably was like, yeah, Hannah, you know, we're going to go in this luxury apartment. Now, we're going to only stay in here 6 months. But after these 6 months, we're going to get that house. We already got the ride. We're going to move. And I got this YouTube channel. We are going to make it. We're going to be one of those that's going to make it off the YouTube channel. Now, I'm not doing nothing else. I don't have no merch. I don't have, you know, a lot of people leaving. I don't have a branding. You know, he doesn't have much. He doesn't like to work for anything. He's not even working for himself as far as trying to make his brand on YouTube work. He just wants to get on there, talk to people, get them emotionally involved with him some kind of way, whether it's through pity, whether it's through poverty. I don't know. Whatever, you know, whatever it takes, he's trying to get people involved with him. Well, I'm telling you, Dontay and Hannah, you all need to rethink. You really probably need to go to a therapist. But Hannah, I feel like you got more sense than he does. You need to just take your butt home. Yeah, you're married. I'm not saying divorce. I'm just saying maybe you need to go home and you need to get stronger, because I don't think you're strong enough to talk back or tell Dontay how you really feel. I really don't think so, because otherwise you would not be sitting in the park with a big old thick jacket on and a skull cap or beanie, whatever you want to call it, on your head, sitting out in the sun and everything. I'm not even sure. You said you were sitting in those same chairs when you was a kid. Was out there. Okay. Me personally, I'm kind of questioning if you even live, if your family lives out there, because you went to visit your sister at your parents' house, and nobody came to say, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go hang out with you. Nobody want to hang out with Hannah. None of your brothers, sisters. Your mom didn't want to. Your dad didn't want to hang out with you. Hannah, I really think you're lying about everything. I don't think it's your fault. I think it's your fault because you let Dontay control you to this point that you are so in love with him that you'll do anything for him. But I don't think he's in as much in love with you, which is a sad thing because that's why he's so capable of manipulating you. And you guys get ready to go right now. At first I really thought too that your apartment had gotten flooded by accident, but then, the bricks, weren't weren't stacking up right because he saw about, you all left the apartment and came back and the apartment was flooded and he wasn't like mad, pissed off. What I thought he'd think is at that time, because I was thinking at first, I was like, do you have renter's insurance? Can't that take care of your belongings? Why isn't he upset? Make some phone calls. Call the landlord. Get them to pay. But you all did nothing because you all were the ones that set that whole thing thinking that they did go over there and fix it. But you all thought that they were going to say, okay, we excuse you from your lease. You may go. They was like, oh, hell no. You're staying. And you're keeping that bed that was on the floor that got some of that toilet juice in it. And who knows, I guess right now it's not mildew, but I don't know how you guys could keep that. In fact, how you could keep just about anything that the toilet juice touched and everything. And you want somebody to come move in and take over your lease. And yeah, that's another thing. I think you signed for a year lease, but you had every intention of leaving in 6 months. That's what I think really was the whole deal with that. But you aren't going to say it. But you can't even keep up. You can't even keep up your end of the bargain of paying for the part the 6 months that you wanted to really stay there, because now you're making all this money on YouTube and you're trying to get into the projects. Though the projects, I mean, the way it looks like you're going to make a grip this month on the 21st when you get that check. But don't that affect how if you can get in or not? Because don't they support people who have very low incomes, not someone who's coming in with a $5,000 that just got a $5,000 check? I mean, I've never been, and then plus you got that truck, and like I said, I don't know what you're getting ready to do, but I guess you're gonna go with your mom's, and all I can think of is you're gonna save up your coins, maybe put it in your mom, get an account with your mom. But this one lady says that works there says she follows you. So she already knows that you're making a bit, some coins. So she's gonna charge you some rent. You ain't going there rent free. And that one affordable housing place. So, but Hannah, you need to think about what you've got yourself into. I'm not sure if this is a stable life that you are getting it, that you and your husband have, because it sounds unstable. You get ready to move in with your mother-in-law. Why don't you just go and say you live with your family? I'm gonna live with my family for a while until we can get this all situated and everything. You're leaving everything up to Dontay. I don't know why. He doesn't work. He likes to be. He claims that he wanted to be in, wanted to live the luxury life. But you got to work for that. You don't know. The only way you don't work for it is if you play the lottery and win big. That's the only way you don't work for it and everything. But most people, the stuff they own or got is through hard work or even easy work, but it was through work. And they got the fruits of their labor. They're driving a car. They got a roof over their head. They got food. They got shelter. They got everything that they need. And then after that, It's just luxury stuff, eating out, going out to dinner, things like that. But I don't know what's going on with you two. Um, Anna, you need to really evaluate this whole situation and everything. And I hope that you really have talked to your parents about what's going on. I wish they knew this channel and they would check it out. I'm not this channel, but check out your channel and Dontay's channel, because then they could really have more insight and probably really talk to you. Because I'm wondering, do you call them? Do they know that you guys are getting ready to get evicted? You're on the verge of eviction. Were you expecting that from your marriage, to be in an apartment for a couple of months and then to be looking at being evicted and not sure at having your lights cut off? Now I ain't gonna lie, I had my lights cut off once, but that was because I forgot to pay. I forgot what I was working so much overtime that I just forgot to go and take the check at that time. Check. I don't, right at this place, I'm not doing direct deposit just because it fluctuates. They got this bundle thing that I don't like. But anyway, they I didn't even realize I didn't pay my electricity bill, and it was cold too, until my son was standing out on the porch, and he was a youngster. He might have been about 10, and I felt so bad when I came home because there was no lights. So what I did is I just tried to make it a fun-filled day. We went to McDonald's, had some McDonald's. Then I went about candles and said we were going to camp out in the house and stuff. Nope, we weren't going to no darn hotel. It was dark anyway, and we were getting ready to go to bed. So I'm not spending money to go to a hotel where we were going to be sleep anyway. So we just, I don't even think we suffered through it. And then there's been some other times that we didn't have electricity, but most of the time those were because the power just went out due to weather conditions, or some wacky went in our, in the source. I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, you guys just need to give each other some space. He probably doesn't want to because, hey, and that's why he didn't want to talk to you guys, or have you guys in the video. Or he didn't want to do any more family vlogs because they were doing poorly. And now he says, hey, this poverty thing is working. I got to keep doing this. He might want to go and talk to Vanessa, because she had a viral one where she went to an apartment, and the apartment was the worst of the worst. She said she lived in that. She used to live in it, and she made up a story as well, and it went viral. So I don't know how much. She made quite a grip. I'm sure she made a grip off of that thing, because I think it was 500,000 viewers on that one. But yeah, she did good. So Dontay, you can go to an old raggedy house, almost torn down, and say you used to live there. It's too late now since I gave you the idea, and everybody's gonna know. But I'm just scared for you, Hannah. I'm really scared, because we don't know when that camera goes off what is being said, what he is doing to you, and then you all are talking about having a child. He doesn't pay attention to the child that he has now, and he doesn't have the child every day. He has that child, what, if he's lucky, every other weekend or every other week, something like that. But he doesn't have the child on a regular basis, and when he does have him, the little boy is he's in the park playing by himself. He's in the pool playing by himself. He's just doing everything by himself. And yeah, he needs to learn some things to play by himself. But you all don't even, I've never seen you all really, really interact with this young man. Leo's gonna grow up, and he may resent Dontay, because he's like, you were never no father. Yeah, I came to your house. He gonna treat Dontay like Dontay treats his dad. because sometimes you can be around a person, but if you're not, really being mindful or just trying to bond with your child, that what's the point? He's not going to want to be around you when he gets older because he's like, you don't know me. I don't know you. I go in my room, I play on my games, and you go and hang out with your wife. And that's it. And then I go home. That's it. He does hold him, but it doesn't. I don't see real interaction like he does. I don't see him. And you can say when the cameras go off, you read him a book. You do color games where you show him a color and he tells you. You play some type of card game or Connect Four. I don't know. He's probably not old enough to do that. Well, yeah, he is old enough to play Connect Four. I think me and Philip, me and my son, we when he was a little guy. In fact, I tried to play his games on the video games, and I'd always lose. And then we play. What would we play? We played some kind of card games, and we played checkers and just all kind of stuff. But I wouldn't say it was perfect. And I started reading him books, and then as he got older, I had him read me books and stuff. But I think even though I was tired, I tried to do as much interacting with him. I wish I could have done more. But then a lot of times, like uh, he wanted to learn how to play football. I don't really know. I never played football, but I was willing to go out there and show him or help him with what he needed to do. But he didn't want to do that with no football with a girl. So he's like, no, Mom, I'm not one to have people watch me play with a girl. So I was like, okay, at least I tried and everything. But you all need to get it together. And Hannah, you need to think about what you're doing and not let Dontay just railroad you into doing stuff you really don't want to do and everything. I mean, you're in this video almost looking like Dontay. You already got some of his mannerism, and you're talking like him. Boy, boy. And what's the other one? Top tip. Type. You said that too. I'm like, you are turning into Dontay number 2. And I understand when people get around each other, they start looking and acting around, like each other. But you need to have a personality too there. Hannah, I don't know if there's anything that you say or do. He does it, all he does is say, he's running. And that's another thing. He's lived with you and been with you for close to a year, been married to you for 2 months, and he still doesn't know what you should have. He goes, if you even, like I said, if you were even in that hospital, yeah, you talked to somebody, but I don't know if he was in that hospital because we never heard your voice. And he says you was in there. He spent 3 hours with you. He didn't, he was more upset about you leaving him than he was about you thinking that you were having a medical crisis. You had a medical crisis, and he was not that taken aback. He was not emotional, none at all. He just said, well, type. She got to stay there. I was there with her for 3 hours. She got to stay another day. Her sugar went up to 400. Her levels went up. And then they were going to send her home, but then they got real low to 48. He could explain it, but he didn't have much emotions behind it. And think about what you're doing, girl. This guy's all about himself. He's not about you. In fact, you just happen to be the one that said yes and followed through. You weren't the first woman he proposed to. There was many others. In fact, it got to the point of he was just asking women, "Oh, would you marry me? Would you marry me? Would you marry me? Would you marry me?" A couple of them said yeah. A couple of them, they said yeah and ran off. And then that one girl, she said yes, and then he didn't follow through and stood her up at the at the wedding. You know, he's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded. They spent all that money, and then he kicked her out. I mean, he did a lot of dirty stuff to her. Yeah, you probably got a better deal out of this. You only got kicked out once. But I don't know. He's manipulating to the point of, got you rehearsing and looking like him and all this other stuff and playing sad music on your video that you've never did before. Wise up, girl. Wise up. That's all I gotta say. I just had to put this out there for you, Han, because I just want you to know, from a woman's point of view. If you hopefully you hear it, see it, I don't know. You may not, because you don't want. Sometimes people want to stick their head in the sand and not listen to the truth. But that's okay. I've said what's on my mind, and I'm through. So I'm signing out. Bye, everybody.